Hi there, you are listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. My name is Matt Wakeling and thank you so much for joining me. Now today we continue on our interview with Randall Waller and man, it was great catching up in part one. In part two we keep talking a bit more about the Shania, Twain touring days. We find out what was in Randall's rig for those gigs. Talk about the Super Bowl and the Grammys. Really amazing stories. Also, Randall's work with Keith Urban over in the States and his return to Australia and some of the work he's doing here now, including a much anticipated solo album. Our episode today is brought to you by YouGroove, the design guys who redid our logo. Thank you, Warren Scott. Fantastic job. Warren's also a great drummer. You can book him for a gig, book him for design, or book him for both. YouGroove at optusnet.com. We're also brought to you by the Michael Dolce Funk Fusion Masterclass Tour of 2016. Those dates have already been happening, and by all reports, it's been a great time with people learning stacks at these classes. I've been to one. It's wonderful. Here's Michael to tell us a bit about what you might expect at one of these classes.
Hi guys, this is Michael Dolce inviting you to my 2016 Funk Fusion Masterclass Tour. To give you a brief rundown of what the night consists of, we get 10 players in a room in a really relaxed atmosphere, nothing too intimidating. We cover soloing over the one-chord vamp. I will be sharing all my concepts that have worked for me over the years and I still use to this very day. The idea is to show you guys these ideas and apply them to your own voice. If you feel that you know how to play a pentatonic scale and a major scale, that's all you really need. If you're interested in attending the class, you can book through my website at www.michaeldolcemusic.com. So look forward to chatting with you all and hopefully catch you at my next masterclass. Cheers for now, guys.
Yeah, Michael is definitely the man. Such an amazing player and a really lovely and humble bloke. So really great to work with and sit in on those classes. And there's also a giveaway. There's some great prizes. Michael's giving away a Mission Rewa pedal, an Evil Angel Trinity pickup, some Michael Dolce guitar picks, a Charles Celia guitar strap. Really cool prizes. For Australian residents only, check out Michael Dolce Music on Facebook or his website, as he mentioned, or the Guitar Speak podcast page on Facebook. You can get the details there as well. That competition wraps up this coming week, first week of November, I believe, so check those dates carefully and get amongst it. Now, the dates for Michael's workshop classes are also being updated. There's new classes being added and new areas, so keep an eye on the page for all the updates there as well. All right, now we're going to move on to our continued interview with Randall Waller. Some people in the week mentioned they enjoyed the Australian wildlife in the background. Yes, I know. You can hear some crickets. It was twilight going into the evening as Randall and I spoke, and there were crickets on each end of the Skype line, and some beautiful birds too. Hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, hey, we finished off part one with an amazing story about Mutt Lange, the legendary producer's amazing supersonic hearing during rehearsals. We start up part two of the Randall Waller interview with another Mutt Lange story.
But one other story about Mutt, Hardy, the keyboard player, fabulous keyboard player and a great mate of mine. He was playing Still the One,
yep,
which was, I think, in D flat.
Okay.
No, E flat. It was capoed on one, and you play it in D.
D shapes.
And
yeah.
so at one point there's a B flat chord in there, a dominant B flat, and so. And Hardy had played this same arranged part on the same sound every night, every time we played the song, every rehearsal. Mm-hmm. And so we're in rehearsal there, and Mutt says to Hardy, he says, "Hardy, is that the same piano sound that you've been using?" And Hardy goes, "Yeah, it is, yeah." He goes, "Could you play that again, please? Play that B flat. Is that the right voicing? Is that the same voicing that you're playing?" "Yes, yeah, it is. Yep, yeah, yes, it is. Everything's the same. Yep." He says, "Right, well, I don't know. It just doesn't sound quite as bright as it did yesterday. Is it? Nothing's changed. No. no, nothing changed. And Hardy goes, oh, well, maybe I could, I could EQ it, maybe make it a bit brighter, I guess. So, yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, well, have a look at it. Anyway, next day, Mutt was off somewhere else. He had to go somewhere. He was out. He had to go to New York City for the day. It was something like that. And so we had the day rehearsing by ourselves. We go into the studio 10 o'clock that morning. He turns that unit on, and it fritzed out. The little readout on that unit just kind of read gobbledygook, right? So they found the manual for it and had to do a hard reboot on it to, reset the whole thing, right? Yeah. And Mutt, so fast forward again the next day, Mutt comes in, play the piano, plays that part. What does he say? Mutt says, "That's much better, Hardy. What have you done?"
Wow.
Like, it's just mind-boggling. So that's who you're dealing with. You're dealing with someone he's kind of on a different plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite extraordinary.
Wow. And these are things he's hearing in a large band. Like, it was a pretty big band you're lugging around.
Oh, yeah. Nine of us. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And these sorts of things happened repeatedly. It wasn't, none of it's flukes. He hears this stuff. It's freaky, mate. And but just great. Never belittle people. He's just a great, extraordinary human being. Yeah,
cool.
So, in between those two tours, we did the Come On Over, then we did the Up tour.
Yep.
And in between that, I've spent a lot of time playing with Keith Urban, and that was just great fun. We were, Aussies amongst Americans, which is always a laugh.
Yeah,
and
cool.
We played the Castle on the tour bus, until the Americans actually kind of went to bed, not, scratching their heads, wondering what it was about.
Nice.
Yeah, we had lots. It's just great fun, and every now and then I run into him when he's down here. I'll go out and see him and say good day. He's a good fella.
So when you got the call up and you rushed over to the States, what could you take with you in terms of gear?
Yeah, right. Good question. I took one guitar.
Okay.
I took a black Stratocaster that I bought from. It had recently belonged to. I think Chris Folsom.
Yeah,
it belonged to him and a mutual friend of ours, and so I bought it for $200, and I changed like literally every piece of metal on it. It was only the wood was left.
Yeah.
Refretted and everything. It had EMGs in it, and it's a great guitar. It's still a great guitar. One of my main guitars still.
Cool. Was that a profile?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, awesome.
Yep, great guitar, and its intonation is still fabulous, and it's just a fantastic sounding guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought that in '92, and so I took that with me, and that's all I took. And it was actually really funny. The other guitar player, Brent, also just a great mate of mine, and to this day, I was just messaging him yesterday. Actually, we had a long conversation yesterday. He was using for particular things. He was using these the matchless HC30 heads.
Oh yeah.
Into Fender 212 Tone Master cabs.
Yeah.
And they just sounded, absolutely sensational.
Mm-hmm.
And but the guy, the guitar tech, my guitar tech, is a guy called Kevin Buell, he's been Springsteen's right hand man. Whenever Bruce is on the road, Kevin is right beside him, and he's been his guitar tech for decades.
Okay.
So he ended up being my tech.
Wow,
and
awesome.
It's pretty funny. And he'd been given the corporate credit card to buy the gear that was required for these rehearsals and for the band to get the tour on the road. So I wander in, and I wasn't even sure. In the first couple of days, because George had said, if you're the guy, right, as I mentioned earlier, if George said, if you're the guy, we'll fix up the visa once you get here, and I said, I'm the guy, and all of that. So when I arrived, Mutt had said, I'm happy to go ahead with this. So, and I knew the time was getting short, in terms of when the tour was next to start. And so I just kind of, but I still wasn't. I didn't have the absolute say so. And I'd mentioned to Kevin about getting some gear, and he was really reticent to spend any money at all. And he said, "Well, you could just get Fender amps. Why not get these Fender things?" And I've never been able to get a sound out of a Fender amp.
Yeah.
I've heard lots of people that can,
Yeah.
but I'm not one of them. I can't do it. They sound like crap boxes when I play through them. So. And he's trying to push me onto these Fender things because I don't know, maybe he had a good relationship with Fender. So, and it's fair enough because Fender Nashville I ended up having a great relationship with them. They're a great company and they really helped me out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, fair enough. But I'd heard these matchless things and I thought, man, that's what I want. So, one day we're rehearsing and, a few days in, and we stop, we have a break, it's like midday, go in, make a cup of tea, and Mutt and Shania are sitting there in this kind of recreation room sort of thing, and Mutt says, so Randall, have we got some gear on the way for you? And I was kind of like, well, geez, what do you say? I don't want to put a foot wrong here. It's like, because I'm still not sure if I've got the gig, right?
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
said, well, I think Kevin is a little reticent to spending money. I guess we're trying to ascertain if I'm the guy, in quotes, before he spends any money. I guess, which makes sense, And he goes, oh, well, no, you're the guy. I mean, we made that decision when we got you over here, But we don't have time to find anyone else anyway, And they said, oh, dear, Kevin. And he sort of said Kevin rhetorically, Kevin's still down in the studio. He goes, oh, okay, come on, Randall, come with me. And so we walked the length of this massive compound right down to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at Kevin. He says, hey, Kevin. He gets his attention. He says, Kevin, he's the man. He's the one. It's okay. Buy him whatever he wants. Get him whatever he wants. It's okay. And he looks at me and with a smile and a wink, he says, all right. And he turns and walks away, and off he goes back to his cup of tea. And I put my hands together. So all of this happened, and I'm just kind of going, yes, And when he says that to Kevin, I just had to laugh, and I just kind of like rub my hands together. Right now, Kev, remember I mentioned those matchless? And so, within 2 days, we had 2 of those matchlesses, that I ran stereo through the Tone Master.
Man. Yeah.
But I didn't have time to build a whole rig with pedals and everything, and I'd been using the GT5, the Boss GT5.
Yeah, the blue one.
Yeah, for a couple of years, and
Yeah.
I knew it inside out, and it seemed good. So I thought, I can at least sort of use this for now and work in other stuff as we go. So I ended up programming all of the songs into that thing, and that's all I used for the first year of that tour.
Wow, cool. So the Boss GT5 multi-effects unit,
that's
kind
it.
of floorboard thing. Yeah, wow.
Sound, we did live DVDs. We did live shows shot for television, TV specials down in Miami with Elton John and the Backstreet Boys.
Wow.
Just all kinds of things. All of it. It was all just done with the GT5.
Wow.
GT into those matchless amps run clean on the triode side, just on the clean side.
Yeah.
Still pretty loud,
Mm-hmm.
and but using the blues driver in the GT5 with a bit of EQ, and that was basically the sound. That was basically it, and it sounded massive. In fact, Keith came along. Keith came to one of the shows in Birmingham, just south of Nashville. It was the closest we were going to play, and so he came down with his manager, Greg Shaw, another good mate of mine, and the cabinets were off the stage, way back off the stage, remote mic'd behind curtains or underneath the stage or wherever it may be. And so, guitar players could actually stand around the cabinets listening to what we were playing without us really knowing, and they'd be front and center listening to the noise that was going out into the arena, And after that night, I'll never forget. Keith just kind of came up to me, he just hugged me. He said, "Man, Randall, he said, that sound. He said, it's just, and he like searched for the words. He said, it's bigger than big. It's huge. And it did. It really sounded just gigantic. It was massive. And it's just the GT5, the blues driver, bit of EQ into those matchless amps. Yeah, mighty.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Second tour as well, except we ditched the cabinets and used Palmer speaker simulators.
Okay, yep.
So yeah, if the in-ear system went down, you got nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, when that went down, literally all you could hear was kind of this little clatter of drums from down the other end of the stage.
Okay.
Unmiked drums, sort of thing. You know, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And we had the second tour was highly automated. We had Pro Tools rigs changing our pedals, changing patches in the switching systems, and so we didn't need to be near our. I had the pedal board on the stage, just in case of emergency. Yeah. Which the Pro Tools rig went down one time out of 100, 110 shows, something like that.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're still using your GT5? It's just not in out of the MIDI?
On the second tour, yes, I was, but I also co-opted it, sort of buried it in a rig that used other gain pedals and other time-based effects as well.
Cool.
Line 6 stuff and a G-Force, the T Electronics G-Force.
Cool,
so,
man.
Yeah.
And how about guitars? So you had your profile. You must have needed a backup or something.
Yes, I needed a backup. We bought a American stuff. What were they called? Some sort of American Stratocaster that came with a humbucker in the back and a Floyd Rose on it. So that was a direct sort of backup for the black one, but it never sounded as good as the Blackie.
Okay.
And I've become really accustomed, probably because I've become really accustomed to EMG pickups, and I just love them. I've got them in most of the guitars, and they just sound mighty. I don't know, just they work for me. Yeah. Some guitar players just really boo-hoo them. They just tear them apart. But they've always worked well for me. I don't know. I like it. Yeah. I had that. I had a Telecaster. A Gretsch, a big purple Gretsch Setzer hot rod.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
That I used on the second tour. A couple of Taylor 710s.
Yeah.
That's about it. On the first tour, I used a Jerry Jones baritone as well.
Okay.
For homemade Where His Heart Is. I'd play the baritone part on that, which I just loved. But no, it was fairly simple, mate. Basically, a telly, a Strat, a backup for the Strat, and a Gretsch, and that's it.
Cool. So you said you developed a good relation with Fender. How did that work out?
I thought they were just great. Because in between those tours, there was 3 years between the tours.
Okay.
And we were there for 7 years. Had the house in Nashville for 7 years, and so 3 of those were sort of, not high profile time at all.
Yeah.
And but during that time, I was playing with Keith.
Yeah.
I also played with a fairly high profile group over there called Shadaisy, that are kind of like you can't help but compare them to Dixie Chicks, but they're, three sisters, kind of harmony based country stuff.
Yeah.
And played with them for quite a while, and played with Rodney Crowell for quite a while as well. Who,
nice.
I don't know if you heard of Rodney.
Bits and pieces.
Noted as a writer,
mm-hmm.
perhaps more so than an artist, but he is an artist in his own right, and just a great guy, great mate. And he was out here just last year, actually, with Emmylou Harris. Just turning the brightness down here so I can save the battery. And so during those times, it was not anywhere near as high profile as the Shania show was.
Sure.
So in terms of a promotional prospect, I really wasn't sort of being seen in front of enough people to really warrant their attention.
Yeah.
But they knew that there would be another Shania tour coming up, and they know that I'd given them good mileage on the previous Shania tour. And
Cool.
and they were just true. The guy there, Bruce Boland, great guy. And I'd just go in there and he'd say, "What do you need?" And he'd go and get boxes of strings and he'd just throw them at me and say, "Here you go. What do you here you go. Yeah, have those. And I'd say, "Look, I really need if I was out on the road and I'd busted a guitar, which I did, I threw guitars up in the air all the time at the end of the show. I can send you photos of all this stuff. I literally throw them up in the air as high as I possibly could. And most of the time I would catch it, and sometimes I didn't. So if I needed another guitar, they'd just send me out, and I had 3 or 4 62 reissue Strats these days that they've just sent to me, and I've butchered and mongreled and customized and whatever. So but they'd send them to me because that they just wanted me to be playing them. So and they were just awesome. But through those lean times, through those 3 could be seen as lean years, it made no difference to them. He was, "Yep, what do you need? No problem. We'll help you out."
Wow.
It was interesting that I needed a case for a Les Paul that I owned at that point. I called Gibson, and they wanted me to buy a case, even though Fender was giving me stuff, no problem. I had to buy just a guitar case from Gibson, but Gibson heard that almost the first gig that we had for the Up tour was doing the Super Bowl. And so I had a phone call from Gibson Nashville saying, "Hey, Randall, here you're going to be doing the Super Bowl. Just wondering what I got to do to get a guitar in your hand." And okay, yeah. He said, "Just all you got to do is play it on the show and it's yours." Okay, right. Okay, thanks. I'll think about it. And I never called back. How can you do that when
Sure.
it's been true blue all the way through? So I used the old profile Strat. Here it is. Don't you? But it's a Strat, with a Fender decal on it. So anyway, yeah.
Nice. Tell me about the Super Bowl. What's that like?
Oh, mate, that's what a show. Golly. The entire stage is set up in 7 minutes by 150 people. It's rolled in on wheels. It's like, mate, it was just extraordinary. And they pull in like people from like all bunch of like girls and young blokes and everything, and that they allow to run out onto the field. Like this mid-game. Everyone just runs out onto the field, and because it's entertainment. I can't see them doing that here in Australia. You can't run onto the field after a rugby league game when there's no band playing. They don't. No, stay off the ground. This is in the Super Bowl, the game of games, and they just go on, get out on the ground because they understand that it's entertainment, right? And the halftime show is as much a part of the entertainment as the game itself is, right? And to make that, to give it vibe and excitement and everything, you've got to have people up on the stage, people right up to the stage, right? And they get that. Yeah, Americans just get it. They get entertainment. Yeah, so that was the Super Bowl, but all of those shows, mate, they're doing the Grammys. That was an education because they would roll in massive risers that had 15 guys playing strings, an orchestra on it. They'd roll in 2 of those with a multi-pin coax cable thing, plug in all the mics, and hit a digital console. Great, ready?
Wow.
3, 4, go.
So the multi-pin, that's the hero for some of these rigs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, definitely. When you're rolling the multiple players in on a stage, they're all sitting on there as it's rolled in, and then they roll them off, and the next one rolls in, and mate, it's the Shrine Auditorium. It's like just it's clockwork. It is absolute clockwork. It's unbelievable. just brilliant. Yeah, amazing to be a fly on the wall and watch how they do these things. It's really brilliant.
Cool, man. So
Very, you feel like, you're scratching yourself. A little guy from Sydney watching all of this stuff. It was just such a privilege to be, to be a fly on the wall and watch it.
yeah,
It was just great. Yeah.
brilliant. So the up tour. So that's around 2002, 2003. Is that sort of
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, two,
cool?
three, four. Yeah, yeah. We did the Super
Wow.
Bowl in '03, which was
Yeah.
January, end of January, and did a bunch of work, sort of preparation work through that year. A lot of time in Los Angeles, programming, doing the programming for those
Sure.
patch changes and stuff, and setting up
Mhm.
rigs basically, and rehearsing. Uh, and I think we started maybe oh yeah, we started '03. I think the record came out in late '02
Okay.
from memory, and we did the Super Bowl in '03. So the actual tour
Okay.
was
Yep.
'03, '04. We didn't actually end up. We did a bunch of other things through that summer of '03. After doing the Super Bowl, we then spent a lot of time in LA doing that programming and huge
Mhm.
soundstage in Hollywood, and then we went to Ireland. We were there for a month rehearsing there, doing production rehearsal there. Um, we went down, and the first show that we did, the first real show that we did, apart from that Super Bowl, was down in Kilkenny, where we played with the Mavericks and the Pretenders and all of that. And
Cool.
Shania was the headline act. And so, yeah, it was just, mate, it was so unbelievably exciting. That I would say that one, and the following week we played in Hyde Park. We did the uh, she did her own show in Hyde Park. We had 65,000 people there in London, and that would rate as probably the most exciting show I've ever done, because we were back. The band was back together,
Mhm.
and it was the beginning of the tour. Done all this rehearsal, and we didn't need to be near our racks of stuff, and didn't have to be pushing buttons and dancing
Yeah.
around on pedal boards, and you could just play and address the crowd, and it was just, oh man, it was just thrilling, and playing a bunch of
Yeah.
new songs and everything. It was just awesome. It was so exciting. And then the following week, or maybe 2 weeks later, we did that same show, except in Chicago, and that was the one that
Ah,
became the
yeah.
DVD, the live DVD. She's on the cover with the yellow shirt on, and yeah. So that was how we spent that. Rather than touring through that summer, we spent it basically rehearsing and preparing for those three shows, culminating in the one
Okay.
that became
Yeah.
the
Cool.
DVD. Yep.
Nice. And you're singing a bunch on that too, on the gig and that video as well, huh?
Yeah, yeah, a lot. Yeah, yeah. Well, like way back when I got the gig, they seemed to be able to find. Um, I would have thought people like me grew on trees over there,
Mhm.
and I'm sure they do, but they just didn't seem to be able to turn the right stone to find them,
Sure.
in time. Um, they were able to find great guitar
Mhm.
players, as you'd imagine, who, however, had kind of ooh and ah kind of backing
Okay.
vocal voices, or they found
Yeah.
real lead singers uh, with a strum along kind of guitar
Sure.
capacity, right? But they needed a lead guitar player and a lead singer, because I sang like From This Moment with her, and did a lot of the duet harmony tight
Mhm.
duet harmony stuff, uh, that that really needed to be like syllable perfect. It really was. We spent a lot of time working on it, getting it right, her and I. Um, uh, so I guess that's why I was lucky. I just, they didn't weren't able to find someone that did just what I did. And looking back on it, I was just right for that part. It was just the right spot. You know, round peg in a round hole. Just it was perfect. Yeah. So um, yeah, so yeah, I do a lot of singing on it. Lots of
Yeah,
singing.
cool.
I love that much as the
Fantastic.
playing. Yeah.
So when does the up tour wind up? What happens at the end of that tour?
Uh, it was mid-July '04. We did the last show in Fort Lauderdale. It was, yeah, July 10th, '04. Came home
Yeah.
on the 11th from Miami, and that was it. It was just kind of all of a sudden your life just stops. life as you know it. All the people that you see daily, just a lot of us have experiences like that. It's like finishing school or just any kind of end of an era type
Yeah.
situation. So we came back to. I went back home to Nashville, and we had one more show where we played Good Morning America, um, which is a Diane
Yeah.
Sawyer, I think
Big breakfast show. Yeah.
CBS show. Yeah, where they set up a stage on Broadway in Nashville during the week when the
Okay.
CMAs are, the Country Music Awards are. And so, yeah, but it was mainly for Shania. She was the big sort of draw card then, and there were just tens of thousands of people all packed into on Broadway in Nashville to watch her play. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
it was big fun. That was it. That was the end of
Did
it.
you end up staying
And
in Nashville and thinking about pursuing other work
well,
there, or were you keen to get back to Australia at some stage?
look, no, I would have stayed there. I would have stayed, despite my problems with their politics. What do I know? I don't know. I would have stayed, and I had a great opportunity to capitalise on a bit of
Yeah.
profile and stuff um, that I had there, and just in terms of finding work, I had a great relationship. Still have a great relationship with
Yeah.
the Shadaisy girls, and I would have been able to find work, no doubt. However, Susie's my agreement kind of with her was that we would do the two tours
Hmm.
and that would be it. We'd come back home. She had put her
Sure.
career on hold and followed me around the world for 7 years. So, it was she wanted to have a go. So, and but not only that, that was only one element of our move. My mum was very ill at the time with this hereditary thing, pulmonary fibrosis, that ended up killing her, and that with my
Yeah.
mum being ill and kids starting to speak with American accents, and we'd had we'd had our second little fella,
Okay.
our little boy by then, uh, and yeah, it was just, I don't know, it's particularly for
Sure.
mum, we wanted to get home, and so she had an opportunity to get to
Yeah.
know all our kids before she went. So yeah, so that was important
Yeah, for
to
sure.
all of us, to Susie.
Yeah. So back in Australia, was it a bit of a sea change, or was there?
Well,
I mean, obviously you're from here. Was it a culture shock to come back
yes, it
to the
was. Yeah,
beaches? Yeah.
still is. Yeah,
Hmm.
it still is. It's cheapers. Yeah, I'm loath to say much about it because people say, "Oh, who's this guy think he is?" Um, it's just completely different. I was used to for for years I was on tour buses or private jets or whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily what I want. It's not. I'm not saying that's what I want here, but I guess I would say those gigs just hardly exist here.
Yeah.
And if
Sure.
they do exist, they exist for a couple of weeks a year, sort of thing. You know,
That's right. I mean,
it,
2 weeks you've toured the whole
that's it.
nation. You've done all the
That,
big gigs and the big regional centres, and that's it.
that's it. Yeah. So,
Sure.
but I suppose the fact that I played with those people over there was rather meaningless once I came back here.
Hmm.
You know, if, to get any sort of high profile gig doing uh, uh, guitar and vocal with say Farnham or anything like that, no one's going to employ me. No one. It doesn't. All they would think of was the Avion. Oh, that Avion guy. Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, Because yeah, but he's been doing this and this and this in America. Yeah, but no, you know. In fact, a very interesting thing recently. Just last year. I had a guy out of the blue called me to play with Tim Minchin.
Okay. Yeah.
He had a couple of gigs on the Opera House steps. Excuse me. And I would love to have done that because I'm a big fan of his and of his politics and everything else. I'm a big fan, and I was really excited. I would love to do that, you know. And the guy said, "So, you know, what have you done? Who have you played with?" And I think I don't know. Mentioning Shania was probably the nail in the coffin. It's like I just never heard from them again because I guess he kind of figured, well, Jeepers played with Shania Twain. He must be a country redneck
guy, yeah.
or whatever. You know, I'm the furthest. I don't know the first thing about country. So we were called Shania's band. A reviewer in DC described it as Def Leppard with fiddles, which is exactly what the band was. It's exactly what it was. They're all rock players. Everyone.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. No strictly country players in the band at all.
Wow.
Yeah. So not a one. Yeah.
Wow. Even wasn't there a guy playing some pedal stuff and?
Yeah. Oh yeah, but he's a jazzer.
Oh, okay.
He's a fusion jazz guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
But as a result, he can play anything you want.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, he's a freak. That guy, Mark Muller, great guy, and funny bugger, funny and deep musician. Wow. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, back here it carries more weight. You say that I played with Rose Tattoo. They go, you know, you say you played with Shania Twain. They don't know. They don't. Generally, people don't understand what that means.
Okay.
Or play with Keith Urban. Oh yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I currently sort of play with Rose. Oh, well, not now, but you know, played with Rose Tattoo. You know, a little while ago. Again. Oh, really? Oh, wow. You know, it's funny. It's funny. No, I don't mean, you know, I'm not.
Yeah. No disrespect. It's just a different.
It's just a perspective, you know.
It's a different thing. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very strange. So, yeah, so I've been doing that, and I've been doing my own gigs. I've got my own little band called Noise. And,
yeah, I've seen ads for you. I've got a mate who keeps trying to drag me out on a Monday night.
I play at Frankie's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Noise. It's not really the Noise at Frankie's, but Joel, who plays in Frankie's house band, is part of the Noise. Yeah. So.
Okay. So what's the Noise? Tell me about that band and what kind of stuff you're doing.
It's just silly rock and roll covers, an excuse to make noise and have some fun. Right?
Great.
That basically, and actually get out and still be playing.
Yeah.
Whilst I complete this record that is turning into an epic saga in terms of, but I am making progress on it now. Now I just commit every day to 9 to 5 to do that and you know, see the kids when they come home. I have to run them around if I have to, but then get and you know, and then into the night as well. You know, so I am like head down, bum up doing that right now, and it's going to be very rock. It will be the first real rock record that I've made, and a few little ghosts of Nashville there, maybe here and there, but mostly detuned, tough, massive rock with lyrics that are really important to me. So
cool. Sounds cool. Is there, you got a rough time frame when you want to get this thing finished?
Yeah. I was just talking to a guy yesterday who wants to do something in terms of distribution, and he's looking for a timeline. We're talking about March next year.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I am excited about that, mate. I'm really excited about that record.
Yeah, cool. And are you like workshopping any of these tunes live yet? Or
yes, I am. Yeah, done a couple at Frankie's and at my own noise gigs. I'm doing a couple of as well, and I'm going to include a couple more as well. So yeah, we'll just add more and more as we can.
Great.
Yep.
What's the best way for people to keep up to date with like this or any of your gigs if people want to catch up with you? And
Facebook or Instagram is probably the best.
Okay.
Although I'm just about maxed out on Facebook friends, I'm going to have to turn it into a what is it? What are they do some sort of different page on the damn
Yeah,
thing.
like an artist page or something.
Yeah, something like that. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do that, I suppose, and turn people over to it, and hopefully they will. Yeah, I always put up stuff on Facebook. Whatever I'm doing there, I'll throw it up there and let people know. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, Randall, it's been so fun talking to you, man, and catching up.
You
And
too, mate. Good fun, mate. Thanks for bothering. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's good fun.
Oh, definitely. And you're very beloved in the Australian guitar scene. That was obviously the other night at the Gary Moore show, and from the interest people have in your gigs and the stuff you're doing now. And guys I know are crazy fans and waiting for your record. So
is that right? Oh, really? Oh, wow, that's exciting. Oh,
for
wow.
sure.
Oh,
for sure.
Oh, mate, I can't tell you what that means. I thought, it literally would come out with a whimper, and it just. I'm doing it because I need to get the monkey off my back, to get it finished. Because there's some heavy subject matter in it, and I just need to do it. I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But to hear that people are actually keen to hear it, that's really wow. I'm blown away. That's amazing.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, so get it done, and maybe we can chat again when the record comes out and
mate. Yeah, mate, we can go through track by track.
Talk through a few tracks. That'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, mate, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. It's been a great chat, and
talk again soon.
Do it again. Yeah. Cheers.
Good on you, champ.
All right, there is part 2 of the Randall Waller interview, and man, what an amazing bunch of experiences Randall has had throughout his career. Now, since our interview, Randall posted the other day, I should say, a little clip from his album, and it's amazing. It sounds like the outro of this big rock song, and the guitars are just wailing, and the tone is massive. I think he's running his Paul Reed Smith through a diesel head, and it's just unreal. So check that out, Randall Waller on Instagram or Facebook. So we'll let you know when the album comes out as well, and hopefully we can have Randall back and talk through some tracks. Man, there's a lot of our guests who have put out new albums and things. I need to do something to follow this up because there's some great stuff. Michael Fix's album we mentioned during the Mayton interview a couple of episodes ago. It's just beautiful. Bob Spencer, on his Facebook page, he's been showing a few of the riffs and the progress of his album, which is going to be really cool. Peter Northcote, I just saw today, has put a couple of new songs up online as well. Who else? Sarah Lipstate, Novella. Her album is done by the sounds of things, and that gets released early next year. Gretchen, what's happening with your record? Let us know. Apparently it's coming along. Yeah, heaps of cool stuff. So great that our guests are releasing things. Andy Othling, Lowercase Noises, new album must be very close as well. All right, I'll stop going on. And here's the thing: all these guests have been on our show. You can dig back and listen to these past episodes on iTunes. Subscribe to us on iTunes. You can dig back through, or we're also on Stitcher. Or if you go to guitarspeakpodcast.libsyn.com, you can get all of our episodes there as well. So thank you so much for joining me. We hope to hear from you again. There's lots of great new episodes to come as well on the Guitar Speak podcast, so stay tuned. Have a great day, and thanks again for joining me. Bye now.